If you have a cat, congratulations on living with an adorable little creature. Ahem. I mean a vicious top carnivore. As much as cats like to pretend they're the rulers of the roost, stealing beds from Great Danes 10 times their size and knocking over expensive vases, to us, they're just ridiculously funny and precious fluffy kittens. So don't tell your cat I told you this, but there's actually something very cute and hilarious on the bottom of its paws. If you look at the pads of their feet upside down, the heel pad looks a lot like a person's nose. It's even funnier if you picture the fur around the pad as a bushy mustache. If you look at a map of Australia for a long time, you might start to think the shape reminds you of something. What is it? Try to see it before I tell you. Can you put a finger on it? Picture it like this. The two peaks in the north around the Gulf of Carpentaria are ears. The western curve is a snout, and the eastern curve is a neck. The island down below, which is Tasmania, even has a tag, like that on a dog's collar. Do you see it now? Yeah, Australia looks strangely like an outline of a dog. The FedEx logo might seem simple at first, just the company name and nothing else. But once you've looked closer and spotted a hidden detail, it's impossible not to think, that's clever. In the negative space between the E and the X, there is actually an arrow pointing to the right. The logo's designer said that the arrow could hint at the direction, speed, and precision. The clever use of the negative space has won the logo several awards. It was even included in the list of 20 designs that define the modern world. It was called one of the happiest accidents in the history of graphic design. Because it was, in fact, an accident, the designer said farthest from our minds was the idea of an arrow. It wasn't even noticed until the design firm had developed over 400 versions of the logo. But that's not surprising, because it's said that perhaps less than 1 in 5 people find the hidden arrow without it being pointed out to them. Did you see it before I told you? That's not the only example of an arrow hiding where you might not see it. On exit signs, there's also a negative space arrow in between the E and X. That's surely a fun little detail you can point out to your friends next time you see an exit sign at a college or a movie theater. But there's actually something more interesting about these helpful signs. Have you ever seen the kind of exit signs that are mounted on clear glass? They're very common in office buildings and schools. But how could they possibly say the word exit in the correct direction on both sides, even though they're see-through? Shouldn't one side be read backward? Well, actually, what's happening here is a clever optical illusion. It's not clear glass at all, but instead, it's a mirror. There's an opaque lens between the two sides, so you can't see through to the other side at all. The reason why this goes unnoticed is because of where the signs are usually mounted. Up high, near the ceiling of office buildings, there's no chance of catching your own reflection, or something else that would give it away. Plus, the ceiling walls tend to be very monotonous, with tile patterns that look the same on both sides. As you move, your perspective keeps the reflection lined up with what you'd expect to see on the other side. But next time you see an exit sign that appears clear, look closer. You'll see that the tiles or molding won't line up perfectly, giving away this clever trick of the eye. Pom-poms on beanies and other hats might just look like fluffy decorations, but they were put there for a smart reason that had nothing to do with looks. Rumor has it that French sailors developed the idea to wear hats with pom-poms so that they wouldn't hurt their heads. During bad weather, their ships would rock and jerk suddenly, so hitting your head on the low ceilings was a big issue. Sewing pom-poms to the tops of their hats was like adding a soft cushion to protect them from knocks and bumps. Have you looked closely at your coins? Many are ridged along the edges, and there's a reason for this. Ridge patterns on coins are a relic of the past when precious metal coins would be just as valuable as metal as they were as currency. Remember, some of them were actually made of silver and gold. That's why some sneaky rogues would shave off the edges of coins and use that metal to mint new coins. After that, they would spend the shaved coins as usual. So, the ridges were added so it would be obvious that someone had shaved off parts of a coin. Speaking of coins, there's a subtle pattern on English ones that most people don't pay attention to. On the 6 small coins, there are patterns that don't seem to mean anything, but when you lay them out in the right order. With the 5 pence coin in the center, you'll see the full picture, which is one big crest. You can also see the whole crest on the pound coin, but it's much more fun to put the puzzle together yourself, isn't it? The Toblerone chocolate bar originated in a city called Bern in Switzerland. It's also known as the City of Bears, which explains why the branding of the triangular treat is designed with a sneaky secret. You'll barely believe that you never noticed it before. The logo at first glance appears to be a simple mountain, but it has another image hidden within it. In the negative space, there's a bear rearing up on its hind legs. Now that you see it, you'll notice it every time you reach for the candy bar for your sweet fix. On that sugary note, there's another chocolate logo with a detail most people won't spot. If you flip a package of Hershey's Kisses on its side, you'll notice there's a hidden shape of a kiss in between the K and the I. The K was specifically designed to curve in the same way the chocolates do. I bet that you wouldn't have spent a lot of time looking closely at your screwdriver and wrench, but if you have, you might have noticed that the shape of the handle of a screwdriver and the inside of a wrench are often the same, and that's on purpose. A lot of screwdrivers can be easily slid through a wrench so that they can be used to create more torque. If a screw is particularly stubborn, this secret design gives you much more force to turn it. This feature is especially helpful at complicated heights and angles. If your handy DIY friends haven't already noticed this, now is your chance to impress them with your eagle eye. Okay, right now, picture toothpaste in your mind. Imagine squeezing some out of the tube onto your brush. You're picturing it with blue, white, and red stripes, aren't you? Those stripes are so common that they're pretty much synonymous with the concept of toothpaste. But the truth is, there's no real reason for them. In the 1970s, the purpose of brushing your teeth changed a bit. Cleaning your mouth wasn't the only point anymore. People wanted something in the toothpaste to freshen their breath too. The first toothpaste companies answered the call by adding a blue stripe to their paste to show that it could do both. After people began paying more attention to the health of their gums, brands added a third, red stripe to show that their paste had triple action: cleaning, freshening, and plaque control. Even though solid white toothpaste offers the same benefits and the different colors aren't necessary, companies keep adding stripes to their paste because it still sells. When the founders of Baskin-Robbins, who were fittingly named Bert Baskin and Irv Robbins, first started in the sweet treats industry, each of them opened up his own shop. But being brothers-in-law, they quickly decided to join forces. And when they did, their shop had a unique selling point. They offered 31 flavors. This way, visitors could theoretically come back each day of the month and try a new flavor. The 31 flavors became an integral part of the company's roots, and to this day, there's a hidden reference to it in their logo. It's number 31 inside the B and R of the Baskin-Robbins logo. Even with the numbers in a different color, the clever design hides this secret so well that you probably haven't noticed it until now. But I understand if you were paying more attention to your ice cream than the brand's graphic design.